She said I was too boring in bed, so I let her watch the camera footage of me with her best friend the next night. Right before I served the papers. 3 weeks underwater changes you. Not in some philosophical way, I mean literally. Your ears take days to stop ringing. Your joints ache from the pressure changes. And when you finally surface, the regular world feels wrong, like everyone's moving too fast while you're still in slow motion. I just finished a salvage op 60 feet down in the Gulf, pulling up what was left of a yacht that went down in Hurricane Katrina. Yeah, that Katrina. Rich people pay stupid money to recover their sunken toys, even decades later. The owner wanted his father's watch from the captain's quarters. Found it, along with about 80 grand worth of other stuff he'd forgotten to mention. That's what I do. I'm Xander, and I dive into the dark to bring back what people lost. Walking through my front door in Houston that October evening, I expected the usual. Kids tackling my legs, Fiona complaining about how the house smelled like seaweed even though I'd showered twice at the dock. Instead, I got silence. Note on the counter said the kids were at her mom's for the weekend. Tucker and Ruby, 8 and 6, my reasons for everything. Fiona was in her studio, the converted third bedroom where she mixed her perfumes. She worked for some high-end company that made custom scents for people with too much money. $100 bottles that smelled like memory or desire or whatever buzzword sold that week. "Hey," I said from the doorway. She didn't look up from her phone. "You're back." 3 weeks, Fi. I've been gone 3 weeks. I'm aware. She kept scrolling, thumb moving in that hypnotic pattern everyone does now. There's leftover tie in the fridge. I watched her for a moment. Black silk robe I didn't recognize. Hair perfect even though it was 9 at night. New perfume too, something with jasmine that didn't match anything she usually wore. "Want to talk about us?" I tried. That's when she looked up, and the expression on her face was like I'd asked her to explain quantum physics. "What about us?" "I don't know. I've been gone. Thought maybe. You're too boring in bed." She said it like she was telling me we were out of milk. No emotion. Just fact. "What?" "You asked about us. That's what's wrong with us. You're boring in bed. Mechanical. Like you're checking items off a dive plan." She went back to her phone. "It's been an issue for years." I stood there, still smelling like salt and diesel, still feeling the ghost of pressure in my lungs, while my wife of 10 years reduced me to a performance review. "That's it? That's your explanation? What do you want me to say? Should I lie? Tell you everything's perfect while you're gone for weeks playing Jacques Cousteau?" She laughed, but it was bitter. "At least when you're underwater, I don't have to pretend." Something shifted in my chest. Not heartbreak, that comes later. This was clarity, like when the murky water suddenly clears and you can see the wreck in perfect detail. "I'm going to shower," I said. "You already smell like you did." "I'm going to shower again." In our bedroom, I stripped off clothes that had traveled from the Gulf floor to my house, thinking about pressure. At depth, pressure can destroy you if you're not careful. But it also shows you what's really solid and what's just waiting to collapse. Her studio door was closed when I passed back by. I heard her laughing on the phone, low and intimate. The kind of laugh she used to save for me. "No, he's in the shower." "Yeah, 3 weeks this time." I stopped. Listened. "Tomorrow?" "God, yes. I need it. Hazel will cover, she always does." Hazel. Her best friend. Party planner for Houston's elite. Always around when I surfaced, always had some event Fiona had to attend. You know exactly what I need." I moved away before I did something stupid. In our bedroom, I noticed things. Her jewelry box reorganized. New lingerie in the drawer, tags removed, definitely worn. Receipt from a restaurant I'd never heard of, dated 5 days ago. Then I saw it. Corner of something black under her scarves in the closet. A second phone. I didn't touch the phone. Not yet. In salvage, the first rule is reconnaissance. You don't just dive blind into a wreck, you map it first, understand the currents, identify the hazards. Rushing gets you destroyed. So I left that phone exactly where it was, memorized its position under the scarves, and went to take that shower. The water was scalding but I barely felt it. My mind was running scenarios, each one worse than the last. The boring in bed comment still echoed, but now it felt different. Not criticism, cover. She was building a narrative, creating distance, justifying something that was already happening. I dried off, pulled on sweats, and texted my dive buddy Carson. Guy ran network security before a motorcycle accident messed up his leg. Now he managed equipment for our salvage company and handled all our tech. Need a favor? Tomorrow. Bring your laptop. His response was instant. That kind of favor? Yeah. Coffee better be strong. The next morning, Fiona was gone before I woke up. Saturday fragrance workshop according to the note she left. Kids still at her mother's until Sunday night. The house felt hollow, like those cargo holds I explore, spaces that used to hold something valuable, now just empty and rusting. Carson showed up at 10, limping through my door with a backpack full of equipment I probably didn't want to know about. She cheating? He asked, no preamble. Maybe. Brother, when a man says maybe, it's definitely. He set up on my kitchen table. Where's the device? I retrieved the phone, handling it like unexploded ordnance. Samsung burner, password protected. Carson plugged it into something that looked like a regular charging cable but definitely wasn't. This is legally questionable, he said while typing. So is adultery. Fair point. His fingers flew across the keyboard. Got it. Want to look together or alone? Alone. He cloned everything to a fresh phone he pulled from his bag, then returned the original to its hiding spot. Carson left without asking questions. That's why we worked well together. He understood that some depths you have to explore alone. I sat at my kitchen table with that cloned phone and descended into my wife's secret life. The contact name hit me first, client, Jasper. Except the messages made it clear this wasn't about perfume. Last night was incredible. 3 weeks without you was torture. That was from him, dated yesterday. While I was driving home from the dock. Z's back but doesn't suspect anything. Too focused on his stupid boats. Good. I need you again. Monday? Can't Monday. Has to be Tuesday. Hazel will say we're shopping for the Whitman event. I scrolled back. Months of this. Dates matching every diving job I'd taken since April. Photos that made my stomach turn, not explicit, but intimate. Her hand on his chest. His lips on her neck. Selfies from my bed. My F-word bed. But then I found something that made me pause. B knows. Had to tell her. You told Hazel? Are you insane? She won't say anything. Can't. Not with what I know about her supplier situation. This is getting complicated. Everything worth having is complicated. Besides, she's been helpful. Covers perfectly. Hazel. I thought about all the times she'd been at our house, playing with the kids, bringing wine when Fiona was stressed about my absence. The concerned friend who always assured me Fiona was hanging in there while I was underwater. I kept reading, the fury building with each exchange. But fury makes you sloppy, and sloppy wasn't going to help me here. I needed information. That's when I saw the name Jasper in another context. A forwarded email Fiona had sent him, originally from me about a maritime salvage contract we'd secured. Government job, recovering hazardous materials from a sunken freight vessel. Confidential bid information. Sealed details about the cargo. Your contact still interested in this info? Could be worth a fortune if they bid against Xander's company. Already sent it. Wire transfer hits Tuesday. My hands went cold. This wasn't just an affair. They were using my contracts, selling information from my work. Jasper, whoever he really was, had connections that wanted my business intel. I set down the phone and walked to the window. Fiona's Mercedes sat in the driveway, the one I'd bought her last Christmas. I picked up the phone again, found one more thread that changed everything. A photo of Jasper. I knew that face. That was Hazel's fiancé. Hazel's fiancé. The private equity guy who always talked too loud at barbecues about his deals and portfolios. The one who'd stood in my backyard last month, drinking my beer while his future wife helped my wife coordinate their affair. I drove to Hazel's event planning office on Westheimer. Saturday meant she'd be there. Rich people loved weekend parties, and she never missed a prep day. The rage had crystallized into something colder now, more useful. At depth, panic destroys you, but controlled breathing keeps you alive. Her assistant tried to stop me. She's in a meeting. She'll want to see me. I walked past her, found Hazel in her glass-walled office surrounded by fabric samples and catering menus. She looked up, and I saw it immediately, the flash of guilt before she forced a smile. Xander. What brings you? Cut the S word. I closed the door, pulled out the cloned phone, and set it on her desk. Her face went from fake pleasant to pale in about 2 seconds. I don't know what your fiancé is F-word my wife. You've been covering for them. Every shopping trip, every event, every goddamn lie. I sat down across from her. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me everything, or I'm going to forward these messages to every client on your contact list. She stared at the phone like it might explode. Then something unexpected happened. She started laughing. Not happy laughter. The broken kind that sounds like crying. You think I wanted this? She pulled a bottle of vodka from her desk drawer, poured 2 glasses. You think I enjoyed watching my fiancé sneak around with my best friend? Then why? Because your wife is a monster. She downed her drink in 1 shot. And she owns me. I didn't touch my glass. Explain. Hazel walked to her window, looking out at Houston's skyline. 6 months ago, I made a mistake. Used a supplier who wasn't legitimate. Fake licenses, tax evasion, the works. Saved 40 grand on the Peterson wedding, thought I was smart. Fiona found out? Fiona introduced me to them. Set the whole thing up. Then held it over my head when she needed cover for Jasper. She turned back to me. 1 word from her and I lose my business, maybe go to prison. Every client I have would sue me into dust. So you just went along with it? What choice did I have? She's got emails, invoices, recordings of me discussing it. Hazel poured another drink. Your wife plays the perfect suburban mom, but she's been running games like this for years. The perfume thing? Half her clients are washing money through those custom orders. The pieces were clicking together, forming a picture I should have seen years ago. All those late-night emergency sent sessions for clients who needed something immediately. The cash deposits she claimed were bonuses. How long have they been together? I asked. 4 months actively. But Jasper's been circling her for a year. He thinks she's his ticket to something bigger. Your salvage contracts are worth millions to his competitors. She's selling my bid information. Among other things. Hazel pulled out her laptop. I kept records. Everything. If I was going down, I wanted evidence. Look. She showed me folders of screenshots, recordings, documented patterns. Fiona and Jasper's meeting schedules, financial transfers that coincided with my contracts, even videos from security cameras at hotels. Why show me this? I asked. Because I'm done. I want out. And you're my only chance. She leaned forward. Help me destroy them both, and I'll give you everything. Every recording, every proof of affair, every illegal deal she's made. What do you need? Video evidence of them together. Something undeniable. Jasper's got a prenup with ironclad infidelity clauses, his family money is old oil money. They'll bury him if there's scandal. And Fiona? Well, she can't sell information from prison. I thought about it. The salvage diver in me recognized the opportunity. Sometimes you need the right equipment to recover what's valuable. When are they meeting next? Tuesday. She told you shopping for the Whitman event, right? They'll be at the Ritz-Carlton downtown. Room 1247. He books it monthly. How do we get in? Hazel smiled for the first time, but it was sharp. I'm the event planner. I have access to every floor for the charity gala next week. I can get us master keys. Us? I want to be there. I want to watch him burn. I stood up, pocketed the clone phone. Tuesday then. As I reached the door, Hazel called out. Xander? There's something else. I turned back. She's been putting money aside. Lot of it. Hidden accounts she thinks Jasper doesn't know about. She paused. She's planning to run. Soon. Sunday night, the kids came home. Tucker hugged my legs while Ruby showed me the friendship bracelet she'd made at Grandma's. Fiona played the perfect mother, making their favorite dinner, asking about their weekend. I watched her perform and wondered how I'd missed it for so long. The way she could switch personas like changing clothes. Daddy, are you going away again soon? Ruby asked during dinner. Not for a while, sweetheart. Fiona's fork paused midway to her mouth. Actually, you have that Louisiana recovery job next week. Cancelled it. Now she set the fork down entirely. You can't just cancel contracts. Already did. Told them I needed family time. I smiled at the kids. Thought we could hit the aquarium tomorrow after school. The kids cheered. Fiona's jaw clenched. Later, after bedtime stories and goodnight kisses, she cornered me in the kitchen. We need that money, Xander. We need a lot of things. She studied me, and I saw her calculating, trying to figure out if I knew something. But I'd learned to keep my expression neutral, same face I wore when nitrogen narcosis tried to creep in at depth. Show nothing, reveal nothing, maintain control. Monday, I played the devoted father and husband. Took the kids to school, brought Fiona coffee at her studio, even suggested date night for Thursday. She agreed, though her smile looked painted on. While she worked, I made my own preparations. First, the lawyer. Tommy Wynn, former Navy JAG, now running family law practice in River Oaks. We'd served together before I went into commercial diving. He owed me, I'd pulled his younger brother out of a nasty situation in Galveston once. I need divorce papers drawn up. Quietly. Tommy didn't blink. How bad? Infidelity, embezzlement, money laundering. Jesus. Evidence? Getting it tomorrow. I'll have everything ready. Texas is a no-fault state, but infidelity affects custody. The financial crimes? That's federal territory. Next, the bank. I couldn't touch our joint accounts without alerting her, but I could move my salvage business assets. Set up irrevocable trusts for Tucker and Ruby, transferred my equipment holdings, even moved the boat title. Everything that was solely mine became theirs. The investment accounts were trickier. Fiona had been smart, but not smart enough. She'd hidden money, yes, but she'd done it using our home computer. Carson helped me trace the digital footprints, offshore accounts in the Caymans, cryptocurrency wallets, even a safety deposit box at a bank across town I didn't know existed. She's got about 300 grand squirreled away, Carson said over encrypted phone. Maybe more. Can you freeze it? Not legally. But I can watch it. The second she tries to move it, you'll know. Tuesday morning came gray and humid, typical Houston October. Fiona left early for her shopping trip with Hazel. Kissed my cheek like everything was normal, reminded me about Tucker's soccer practice that afternoon. I met Hazel at a parking garage 3 blocks from the Ritz. She looked like she hadn't slept, but her hands were steady. You ready for this? I asked. I've been ready for months. She'd brought professional equipment, tiny cameras that looked like phone chargers, audio recorders thin as credit cards. We'd rehearsed the approach. She'd enter first using her event coordinator credentials, set up the devices while doing her inspection of the conference rooms. I'd follow 20 minutes later. Room 1247, she confirmed. They usually meet around 11. It was 10:30. The Ritz lobby was all marble and old money confidence. Hazel walked through like she owned it, chatting with staff about the upcoming gala. I waited at the bar, nursing a coffee that tasted like burnt rubber. My phone buzzed. Hazel, devices in place. They're here. I gave it 5 minutes, then headed up. The service elevator, avoiding the main lifts. Hazel met me on 12, handed me an earpiece. You sure you want to hear this? I need to. We stood in an empty conference room next door, listening through the devices. Fiona's laugh came through first, then Jasper's voice, then sounds that made me grip the table until my knuckles went white. But we got more than just the affair. They talked between rounds. About the salvage contracts. About the money she'd stolen. About their plans. After Thursday, Jasper said. His date night idea is perfect. We'll clean out the accounts while he's waiting at the restaurant. What about the kids? That was Fiona. Leave them. Take what we can and run. Brazil doesn't extradite. I looked at Hazel. She was recording everything, backing it up to 3 different clouds. Then Fiona said something that changed everything. Doesn't matter anyway. I'm pregnant. 10 weeks. 10 weeks. I did the math while standing in that conference room, Hazel's hand on my shoulder. 10 weeks meant she got pregnant while I was recovering World War II ammunition from a wreck near Galveston. A job that had me underwater for 12-hour shifts, sleeping on the support vessel. You okay? Hazel whispered. I pulled out the earpiece. We have enough. We collected the devices after they left, Fiona first, then Jasper 10 minutes later, thinking they were clever with their staggered exits. Hazel downloaded everything onto multiple drives. The video was crystal clear. The audio even better. Their own words condemning them. What now? She asked. Now we prepare for Thursday. I spent Wednesday editing. Not the whole footage, just enough. 4 minutes that captured everything without being gratuitous. Their faces clearly visible. Their voices talking about stealing my contracts, emptying accounts, abandoning my children. The pregnancy admission. The Brazil plan. Carson helped me sync it to my laptop, ready to cast to our living room TV with 1 click. Tommy had the divorce papers ready, custody, asset division, everything. He'd added criminal referrals for the FBI based on the evidence. "This is going to destroy her," Tommy said. "She destroyed herself. I'm just documenting it." Thursday arrived like a hurricane you've been tracking for days, inevitable but still somehow sudden. I dropped the kids at school, kissed their heads, told them I loved them. Tucker mentioned Mom had been crying in her studio that morning. Ruby said she'd heard her on the phone saying bad words. The day crawled. I picked up pizza from the place Fiona loved, the one with the truffle oil she always raved about. Bought her favorite wine, a Malbec from some vineyard she'd visited before we met. Set the dining room like we were trying again. Like I gave a damn. She came home at 6, dressed in designer jeans and a silk blouse that probably cost more than most people's rent. Her perfume was different again, something with bergamot and lies. "This is nice," she said, gesturing at the setup. "Where are the kids?" "Your mother's." Figured we needed a real conversation. She poured herself wine, took a large sip. "About? Us. You were right. Things have been off." "Oh." She seemed surprised. "Yes. They have. I want to fix it." The lie came so easily. Maybe I'd learned from watching her. She smiled, the first genuine looking expression I'd seen from her in months. "I want that too," she said. We sat. Ate pizza. She talked about her day, the shopping with Hazel, finding the perfect centerpieces for some gala. Every word a fabrication. I nodded, asked questions, played the fool she thought I was. "I'm thinking about taking less salvage work," I said. "Being home more." Her hand tightened on her wine glass. That would be good. Maybe we could even take a vacation. Brazil is nice this time of year." The glass stopped halfway to her mouth. "Brazil?" "Yeah. Always wanted to see Rio." She set the glass down carefully. "That's random." "Is it?" I pulled my laptop from under my chair, set it on the table. "Or is it where you're planning to run with Jasper?" The color drained from her face like water from a burst tank. "I don't know what." I hit play. The TV mounted on the wall came alive with her voice, her body, her betrayal in 4K resolution. She stood so fast her chair tipped over. The wine glass shattered on the floor. "Turn it off." "No." On screen, she was telling Jasper about my contracts. About the accounts. About leaving the kids. About Brazil. "Xander, please. Just watch." The pregnancy revelation played. She sank back into her chair, or maybe collapsed is more accurate. Her hands shook as she reached for wine that wasn't there anymore. "How? Does it matter?" The video ended. Silence filled the room like water in lungs. That's when the doorbell rang. "That'll be Tommy," I said. "My lawyer." Tommy entered with papers and a witness. I'd requested everything be done properly, formally, no room for her to wiggle out later. He set the divorce petition on the table, next to the pizza boxes and broken glass. "Mrs. Morrison, you're being served with divorce papers. The grounds are adultery and financial fraud. Criminal charges are being filed separately." She didn't take the papers. Just stared at them like they were written in a language she didn't understand. "There's more," I said, pulling out my phone. "I've sent the video to 3 people." Her head snapped up. "Who?" "Your mother, for starters. She deserves to know why she won't be seeing her grandchildren unsupervised anymore." "You didn't?" "Your boss at Artisan Sense. The one who thinks you're such a devoted wife and mother." "Xander. And the SEC. About Jasper's insider trading using my contracts." She stood, and for a second I thought she might run. Instead, she laughed, that same bitter sound from the first night. "You have no idea what you've done," she said. "Enlighten me." She walked toward the door, then turned back. "The baby isn't Jasper's." "I don't care whose. It's your brother's." I almost laughed. My brother had been dead for 3 years. "Cole's been gone since 2022, Fiona. Try again." Her face twisted. "Not Cole. Wade. Wade. My half-brother from my father's second marriage. The one who'd crashed my wedding drunk, who'd borrowed 30 grand for a business opportunity that turned into a gambling debt. Who I'd cut off completely 2 years ago." "You're lying. Check the DNA when it's born. Wade came by in August when you were in the Gulf. Wanted money. I gave him more than that." The rage I'd kept controlled started to slip. You expect me to believe? I don't care what you believe. It's done. All of it. She grabbed her purse. Keep your video. Keep the kids. Keep your righteous anger. I'm done playing suburban housewife anyway. Tommy stepped forward. Mrs. Morrison, you need to sign. I'll sign whatever you want. Just send it to my mother's. She walked out. No tears, no begging, no fight. Just gone, like smoke dissipating underwater. The front door closed with a quiet click that felt louder than any slam. Tommy looked at me. You want me to? Let her go. Within 6 hours, the implosion was complete. Her mother called me screaming, then crying, then apologizing. She'd seen the video, understood everything, said she'd been suspicious for months but never imagined this depth of betrayal. She cut Fiona off completely, no trust fund, no inheritance, nothing. Artisan Sense fired her by email at midnight. Turns out they'd been investigating suspicious transactions already. My video just confirmed what their forensic accountant suspected. Jasper got the worst of it. The SEC raided his office at dawn. Hazel had provided everything, recordings, financial transfers, emails about my contracts. His firm suspended him immediately. By noon, federal agents had frozen his accounts. His family's old oil money disappeared behind a wall of lawyers who wanted nothing to do with him. Hazel sent me a photo from her office that afternoon. Jasper's engagement ring, left on her desk with a note that just said you win. I didn't win, she texted. I just stopped losing. The next 3 months moved like recovery from the bends, slowly, carefully, with constant monitoring for damage. Fiona never showed up for custody hearings. Her lawyer submitted signed agreements giving me full custody with no visitation rights. The kids asked about her twice, then stopped. Children adapt faster than adults to new depths. Wade surfaced once, drunk and demanding money, claiming Fiona had promised him a cut of whatever she'd stolen. I told him about the FBI investigation, the frozen accounts, the pregnancy she'd blamed on him. He went pale and disappeared again. Whether her claim about him was true or just one final manipulation, I'd never know. Didn't matter. That child would never be my problem. Carson helped me track Fiona's hidden money. She'd tried to access it from Miami 2 weeks after leaving, but the FBI had already flagged the accounts. Last I heard, she was working at a rental car counter in Fort Lauderdale, living in a studio apartment, posting filtered selfies on Instagram pretending she was living her best life. Jasper got 18 months in federal prison and permanent disbarment from trading. His family disowned him. Hazel told me he'd written her letters from prison that she burned unopened. Spring came early to Houston. I was teaching Tucker and Ruby to swim in our pool, watching them laugh as they practiced holding their breath underwater. Ruby could make it 20 seconds now. Tucker was up to 35. Dad, look. Ruby surfaced, gasping but grinning. I saw the bottom. Good job, baby. Remember what I taught you? Breathe slow, stay calm, trust yourself. That's right. My phone buzzed. New salvage contract, recovering a Coast Guard vessel off Louisiana. 3 weeks underwater, good money, clean work. I texted back my acceptance. That night, after the kids were asleep, I sat on my porch with a beer, thinking about pressure and depth and the things we carry to the surface. Fiona had been right about one thing: I was boring in bed. Stable. Predictable. Constant. Some people need chaos like they need air. They create storms because calm water terrifies them. But me? I'd learned something deeper down in the dark. Some people drown in shallow water. I learned to breathe in the deep. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.